Dear professors, lecturers, and listeners, today I'd like to present you our research plan about the topic, the impact of servant leadership on job embeddedness. We have prepared the paper with Assistant Professor Mehmet Arcan TUZCU, and I'm lecturer Celal Özgür BÜYÜKYAVUZ. The leadership which emerges in the process according to the characteristics of organizations and followers, external environmental conditions, superior-subordinate relations, is about influencing, shaping, and transforming attitudes and behaviors of employees. We can say that in order to achieve organizational goals, different conditions create need for different leadership styles. The prior traditional leadership theories, prior studies on leadership approach are grouped into three groups: leadership characteristics, leadership behaviors, and situational terms of the leader and organization. Contemporary leadership theories have been developed after traditional leadership approaches. A need has been arised for contemporary different type of leadership theories. Economic, technological, and social changes have transformed organizations. Managing human resources has become more complex. And increasing competitive conditions, growing and fragmenting industries, consumer expectations, increasing in quantity and diversifying in terms of originality, difficulty in satisfying customers, innovation and creativity requirements have transformed the relationships between employee needs and organizational outcomes. So, as a consequence, one of the contemporary leadership theories developed is servant leadership. In servant leadership, educating, strengthening, and supporting employees have been emphasized. Servant leaders who focus on what can be done to develop their followers and integrate them within the organization highlight the concepts of justice, humility, and cooperation. Conceptual framework of our research. Servant leadership is a theory that emphasizes serving employees, evaluating business life more comprehensively through economic and social perspective, ethical perspective, environmental considerations, creating and increasing shareholder feeling among employees, sharing leadership authority and power by ensuring participation of followers in organizational decisions. Servant leadership is a theory that encompasses other leadership approaches defined by ethical, spiritual, authentic, empowering, charismatic, and responsible characteristics. Servant leaders can differentiate themselves by adopting unique leadership style, with their focus on ethical values, trust-based relationships with their employees, creating value for internal and external shareholders of their organizations. Servant leaders who set goals and objectives try to manage constructive contradictions with their prominent characteristics. The uniqueness of servant leadership comes from encouraging its followers to enhance themselves, to act independently, and to use initiative. Servant leadership is based on accepting personal differences without prejudice and negative judgment. Servanthood and leadership might be contradictory concepts. However, these two characteristics have been harmonized in the theory. The servant leader should not be perceived only as a person who serves. The servant leader is not a person who performs routine and low-quality activities, but a manager who can combine leadership competencies with motivation to serve organization and employees. In that theory, servant leaders are more people-oriented and authority delegating than other leadership approaches. It is the behavior of sharing responsibility in the decision-making process, consulting and including followers in the process. Example for an organizational outcome aimed by leaders is the employee's commitment and continuity to the organization. Leadership factors have an impact on achieving these consequences. Developed as a theory to understand these organizational factors, job embeddedness examines the factors that cause employees to stay in the organization from a positive perspective. Job embeddedness is the combination of forces that prevent employees from leaving their job. Instead of focusing only on the employee-employee relationship, it tries to explain the employee's attitude and organizational commitment through job satisfaction. Job embeddedness is a term aiming to understand employees' connections, harmony with other employees, groups, and communities in the organization. It is also explaining the gains they have in their current jobs, which not wanted to lose. Links, fit, and sacrifice are the dimensions of job embeddedness. And also, there's two types of job embeddedness. One of them is on the job, and the other one is off the job. With other terminology, on the job embeddedness can be named as organizational embeddedness, and off the job embeddedness is community embeddedness. The theory includes directly work-related and non-work-related factors that enable employees to stay in their job. Work-related elements are the links established with colleagues and organization, the fit between personal competencies and demands of the job, the physical and psychological benefits received from the work. Non-work factors are personal, family, and community factors affecting the employee outside of the workplace. Factors such as extended self-compliance with the organization, the physical and emotional gains provided to his or her family, the social external environment with which he or she the employee can establish a closeness through the organization, may be the reasons that encourage the employee to stay in the job. The more ties an individual establishes at workplace, the more committed he or she becomes to job and organization. While on the job embeddedness refers to how committed the employee is to the organization worked in, off the job embeddedness refers to how embedded the employee is to the society lived in because of existing job. Job embeddedness represents the accumulated psychological and rational reasons for an employee to remain at current work. Aim of our research. The components of job embeddedness, what needs to be done to increase organizational compliance, connection, and gains, coincides with the attitudes and behaviors of a servant leader. Employees' ability to work efficiently and happily means that their intention to leave the job decreases and their thoughts of staying at work increase. And approach of the person leading the organization may be an important factor in achieving these results. This overlap is why our research focuses on servant leadership and job embeddedness. The main question of our research will be whether employees' perceptions of their managers as servant leaders affect their job embeddedness behaviors. Leaders who prioritize and value their employees, accept them as they are, and create empathy, encourage and empower them are ideal managers who superiors want to work with. Followers of these type of leaders would face sacrificing the emotional factors that ensure job embeddedness, even if they can achieve higher financial gains in case of changing jobs. The aim of our research will be to determine employees' level of job embeddedness to their organizations through servant leadership perceptions for their superiors. Theory of our research. Our research based on social exchange theory, which explains interactions arising from interpersonal relationships and provides understanding of social relationships in the context of cause and effect. Under the circumstances which employees perceive their contributions are valued by their managers and organizations, they develop positive feelings toward their job and organization. Social exchange theory explains reciprocal social interaction that people should help and not harm those who benefit them. The theory shows that if organizations meet employee needs, value their contributions, and pay attention to their interests, employees will experience job satisfaction, and satisfied employees will provide higher benefits to the organization, and at the end of the process, perceived organizational support will increase. It includes external benefits, psychological needs, advice and information sharing between employee and employer, According to the social exchange theory, developing and maintaining relationships between individuals is based on social and financial benefits. Individuals want to maintain mutually beneficial relationships. In our research, it is planned to examine possible consequences of servant leadership and antecedents of job embeddedness. Perceived organizational support and employee empowerment has been considered meaningful to research. Employees who evaluate that they are empowered and supported by their organizations will have an increased intention to continue in their job. Giving confidence to followers, empowering them, making sacrifices, ensuring organizational justice, and creating attitudes towards organizational commitment and cooperation are the successes of servant leadership. Listening, persuading, motivating, dedication to the development of people, empathy, forming groups, and strengthening group relations are among the qualities that a servant leader must have. And a manager who has these characteristics supports and strengthens his subordinates. In a comprehensive literature review about servant leadership, and the attitudinal outcomes on followers are summarized. Employee empowerment and trust appear as variable. A trusted leader is someone who has been perceived as supporting followers. The relevant terms are similar to the variables of our research: personal empowerment and perceived organizational support. Perceived organizational support, perception of justice, job satisfaction, job burnout are possible antecedents of job embeddedness. It has been observed that employee empowerment has an effect on increasing employees' organizational commitment, engagement, well-being within the organization. Empowerment can also help in favor of the organization through decreasing job burnout feelings and intentions to leave job. Consequently, empowered personnel's job embeddedness may increase. Another paper, one of the latest ones, stated that job embeddedness theory is closely related to leadership approach. Servant leadership theory is an important variable in job embeddedness research. Additionally, perceived organizational support is another concept referenced in relevant studies. Empowerment theory are linked to job embeddedness. In the article's recommendation section for future studies, authors emphasized human resource management practices such as psychological support and psychological capital may be antecedents of job embeddedness. And based on existing literature and our readings, research hypotheses have been determined as follows. First hypothesis, employee servant leadership perceptions have an impact on their job embeddedness. Second one, employees' perceptions of organization support mediates the effect between servant leadership perceptions and job embeddedness. And the last one, employees' perceptions of empowerment mediate the effect between servant leadership perceptions and job embeddedness. And at final page of our presentation, we'd like to show you some references, some of the references we observed through our research plan. And we would like to thank all of you for attention and listening us. Have a nice day.